Tom Downey. Hello, friends, and welcome back to CFP Fan Central here. I'm Tom Downey alongside me is Trevor Matich. Trevor, thank you so much for stopping by for today's show.
It's great to join you, Tom.
Absolutely. So let's talk here about Alabama, Georgia. We will start, let's start with the quarterbacks here. Jalen Hurts, what do you make of him?
I think Jalen Hurts is as businesslike a quarterback as I've seen. I think he actually has an advantage over Jake Fromm in that he's a running quarterback, and you've got two powerful offenses from a running standpoint. People talk about the depth of Georgia's running back core. Alabama's got that kind of depth as well. Both sides have good offensive lines. The difference in the running game is that Fromm is a drop-back quarterback. He's not a real threat to run. Matter of fact, Alabama would love it if he took off and ran a lot. But Hurts is a running back first, really. And so the defense can stack the box. They can put lots of guys in there. They can account for every blocker, every running back in the backfield, and still be short defenders because the quarterback can pull it down and run. We saw Hurts do that against Clemson in the Sugar Bowl. And so I think that gives him a real advantage from a standpoint of the running game. But on the other side of it, Tom, is if you have to throw the ball down the field, which guy do you trust to make an accurate throw from the pocket? That guy's Fromm. So from a standpoint of the running game, if both running games go, then Fromm has the advantage because now he can throw from the pocket. If the running games are struggling, then I think Hurts has the advantage because he has that extra potential runner to the running game that can help break it open.
All right, which team impressed you more in the semifinals? Was it Georgia or Alabama?
You know, they both impressed me in different ways. Alabama just put the stranglehold on Clemson. I call them the anaconda defense because they wrap around you and you think in the beginning that you have a chance, but little by little they just squeeze the hope right out of you. The Alabama anaconda defense, and that's the way that they were. And the offense played straight to their strength of their defense in that game. People give Jalen Hurts grief because he doesn't throw the ball down the field with a lot of accuracy. I think he's more accurate than people give him credit for. I think he's just trying to throw it to a safe place. He doesn't want, he doesn't want to risk putting his defense in a bad position by throwing an interception. So he'll throw the ball low sometimes, intentionally. He'll throw the ball high sometimes so that if his guy doesn't catch it, it's out of bounds. No big deal. We'll punt. And so they played to the strength of the defense, and the defense gave them 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown to kind of break it open. Excuse me.
Oh, it's all right. No worries.
Yeah. On the other side, what impressed me about Georgia was that they just never quit, right? In the first half, it looked like it was all Oklahoma. And then they made a change. They made an adjustment. In the first half, Georgia's defense was playing to contain Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma's quarterback. And Mayfield was sitting back in the pocket and just torching them with his arm. So they figured at halftime, well, that's not working. What's next? Well, forget containing him. Let's just go get him. If he breaks out, he breaks out. Well, then they started smashing him physically and doing that, and it made all the difference. Then at the end of regulation, where Jake Fromm led that game-tying touchdown to send it to overtime, for a true freshman to keep his head in the play like he did over and over again when things started to break down was really impressive to me. I mean, there was one play on that drive where he actually had a free runner coming up the middle, Fromm did, and he sidestepped that guy. Now, at that point, most true freshman quarterbacks would short circuit.
Tuck and run.
Right.
Or just go down.
Right. They just, they get out or they throw it away. Instead, he kept it alive. He scrambled a bit to his right, and he threw the ball just a little short outlet to Sonny Michel, who then took it off for a critical first down. This is a quarterback who doesn't short circuit mentally. At least he hasn't yet. Alabama will try to put even more pressure on him to see if they can get him to.
All right, Trevor, you're an O-line guy. Alabama has ruled out Lester Cotton for Monday's game. How big of a loss and impact is that going to have on the Alabama O-line?
You know, it remains to be seen because the guy taking his place reportedly is J.C. Hassenauer. He's a senior. He's been around for a long time. He's been blocking those great Alabama defensive linemen in practice for 4 years, right?
Great
4 or 5
reps.
years. So, so it's not like he's going to all of a sudden be put in and think, oh, this is too big for me. He's ready for the opportunity. At the same time, he hasn't had the reps in games, and at the same time, he's 30 pounds lighter than Lester Cotton. 30 pounds. And when you're a defensive lineman or a linebacker, over the course of 20, 30, maybe 40 runs, to have 30 pounds not leaning on you over and over and over again makes a difference. So what he'll need to do is make sure that he's able to focus on his technique. And if I were if I were giving him advice, what I would tell him is, don't worry about smashing people. Don't worry about driving them 5 yards down the field. I would tell him, get your hands inside, keep a good base, keep your feet moving, and push. Wherever they want to go, push them there. The worst thing you can do as a backup offensive lineman is try to do too much, end up losing your footing and falling down. That happens a lot because now the guy you're trying to block is running free. So as long as he stays on his feet, keeps his hands inside, and keeps pushing, he'll be fine.
I have one more question here for you. Everyone likes to talk about Michelle and Chubb. What do you make of the Georgia offensive line, though?
The Georgia offensive line has performed better than I thought they would. Coming into the season, I didn't see them as a question mark, but I saw them as kind of an unknown. But they have really developed well. They play really, really well. The problem in this game is that they will have a completely different experience against the Alabama defensive front than they did against the Oklahoma defensive front. There were times last year and times in the Rose Bowl that Oklahoma's defense looked like it couldn't slow down an advancing kitten. And they were out of position a lot. A lot of Georgia's biggest runs over the course of the Rose Bowl were because some Oklahoma defender wasn't in the right spot. He didn't know his assignment, and he wasn't there. I would like to tell you that they blocked people out of the way. They opened huge holes, but no, Oklahoma is the one that opened some of those holes. Alabama will not. You'll have to actually defeat an Alabama defender at the point of attack every time in order to break out like they did in the Rose Bowl. So it'll be a different experience for this Georgia offensive line. Now, I think they're up to making it a good fight, but I really think that Alabama's front seven has the advantage. So we'll see if it plays out.
All right. Trevor, thank you so much for stopping by on today's show, folks. That is Trevor Matich. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a minute, so don't go anywhere.